All right, now that you've had a chance to try to solve this, the first thing you would do to solve the second equation would be to subtract 7 to both sides. When you do that, you'll get the 7's to cross out, and you'll have x minus 14, the absolute value of that equals 8. Then at this point, since the absolute value bars are alone by themselves, you're going to then make your two equations. X minus 14 equals positive 8, x minus 14 equals negative 8. From here, you solve for each of the two boundary points. You're going to have an x, when you add 14 to both sides, on both situations here, plus 14, plus 14. These 14's cross out, and you get x equals 22 and x equals 6. You take your answers, you move them down to a number line. These points on the number line become your boundary points. You have 6 on the left, and make sure you always put them in numerical order, so the smaller ones on the left, the larger ones on the right. And then you have to decide what kind of dots will I have. Well, if you go back to the beginning here, you'll notice there's no equal sign here, so we're not going to include the boundary points at 6 and 22. So we will have open circles. Now what you're going to realize about when you have two boundary points like this when solving is that you're either going to have all the points between the two boundary points work, or the outside values are going to work. It's always one or the other. So in this case right here, we're going to test out the number 0. We'll know if the arrow should go out. So if 0 works in this inequality here, then the arrows need to go out. If 0 does not work, then the arrows need to go in. So here's how we do it. Put 0 in for x right here. If I put 0 in for x in the original problem, 0 minus 14 plus 7, is that less than 15? Well, this makes 14, and the absolute value of 14 is 14, and 14 plus 7 is 21. 21, is that less than 15? The answer is no. 0 does not work, so therefore the outside values of the boundary points will not work, so therefore the inside values do work. So we say then that all the points in between here will work. And the way, if you remember how we did domain and range, you write the answer the same way. We'll say all the numbers between 6 and 22 work. So you say 6 is less than x, which is less than 22. That is the algebraic way of saying this kind of answer, and this is the numeric number line way of saying the answer. Hopefully you're comfortable at doing both. Again, don't let these inequalities psych you out. You solve them just like equations, get to your answers, those answers become boundary points, and then you just test out if wherever 0 is going to show up in the number line, and decide if 0 works. Since 0 did not work, the arrows had to go on the inside. Had 0 worked, you would have had two arrows going out instead. All right, let's try the next one. Here we have a quadratic. You're used to solving quadratics. They solve with the quadratic formula. And the way you can use the quadratic formula is by getting all the terms over to one side of the equation. So first of all, start out by writing the equation first. Get the 23 over to this side by subtracting 23 to both sides. When I subtract 23 to both sides, then this crosses out, and then I have x squared minus 2x minus 63 equals 0. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to pull out your calculator, put in your a, b, and c. So if I go like this, whoops, put it out here, and go run the program, a is going to equal 1, b is going to equal negative 2, and c is going to equal negative 63. These two numbers then become your boundary points. So you just take those, transfer them to the number line. You got negative 7 on the left, which is the smaller one, and 9 on the right. Then look at your inequality. Should I be including the points or not including the points? There's an equal sign there, so therefore I'm going to include them with a solid dot. Then we got to find out where 0 is in the number line. 0 in this case happens to be between the points. Let's test out 0 to see if this works. Now if I put 0 in here, 0 squared is just going to go to 0, minus 2 times 0, which is just 0, minus 40 makes negative 40. So I have negative 40. Is that greater than or equal to 23? And the answer is no, that is not true. So 0 is not true, so therefore the outside values have to be true. And when you see your answer with arrows going out, this is a two-part answer. We're going to say over here is the answer, and over here is the answer. So the way we say that then is, how would you describe these numbers over here with respect to the negative 7? Well, these numbers over here are smaller. So you say x values that are smaller than or equal to 7 make up this part of the answer, and this or part then would also include this as well. So then you describe these numbers over here as being larger than 9, right? So then you say x values that are greater than or equal to positive 9 also work. This is our algebraic way of saying the answer. This is an or statement where the arrows go out, and this is what we call an and statement where the arrows go in. And is in, arrows go out is or. That's all you have to remember. Don't let these psych you out. Solve them just like equations. Find your boundary points, test out 0, and you should know which way the arrow should go. Good luck, and hopefully this video helps.